And next up in London, we have Jacksonville taking on Buffalo Bills in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. This is at 9:30 a.m. I will not be watching this game. I'll be at church. But Bills 79% chance to win, almost 80%, and the Jags 20% chance to win. For Lawrence, he's been having an okay year, a little better than I probably would have expected, I would say. 96 for 143 passing, 943 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Josh Allen, 101 for 135. That's some incredible accuracy. 1,048 yards already, 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So that's some really, really good stats from Josh Allen. Travis Etienne, 69 carries, 260 yards, and a touchdown. That's pretty solid from him. And James Cook, who's been way blowing my expectations for him this year, 56 carries, 296 yards, and a touchdown. Christian Kirk on the Jags, 24 receptions, 257 yards, and a touchdown. And obviously, we've got one of the best wide receivers in the NFL on the Bills, Stephon Diggs, and he's had an incredible year so far. 31 receptions, 399 yards. That is, what is that? That's over 12 yards a catch and 4 touchdowns. So that's really, really good for Stephon Diggs. And yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Bills here. Let's see. How much, though? I think Bills usually put up quite a few points. They have a very explosive offense. I'm going to give them a win here, 42-28, taking down the Jacksonville Jaguars. And next up, at 1 o'clock, we've got a solid game here. Tennessee Titans taking on the Colts. Titans, people thought they were going to be horrible this year, especially after what happened when they got beat 27-3. But then they swapped the score. They beat the Browns 27-3, which was insane. And they have a 55% chance to win over the Colts here. And somehow the Colts at the 2-2 record are leading the division, but it is all tied up here. They're just leading because of their points for is more than all the other in the division. Tennessee is in last in the division, but Tennessee is tied for first as well. Every single team in the AFC South is tied up for the number 1 spot. Ryan Tannehill, 67, 108, 788 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. That's not very good for Ryan Tannehill. Anthony Richardson, though, 41, 72, 479 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Those are some pretty good stats, but if I believe that he is out for this game, I believe if I can see this, but we'll look at it in a second. But looking at these, we got Derrick Henry, 73 carries, 285 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Zach Moss, 66 carries, 280 yards, and a touchdown. Then in receiving, we've got DeAndre Hopkins, 18 receptions, 216 yards, and Michael Pittman Jr. got 26 receptions, 245 yards, and a touchdown. If we look at the injury report, is Anthony Richardson still out? Let me do some research. So yes, Anthony Richardson is playing this week. Apparently he played last week. That was his first game back after getting hurt. Week 1, and he had 256 yards last week. So some solid yards there from him. So he's back. Really love his mobility. That's my favorite thing about Anthony Richardson. But looking at the injury report, Kyle Phillips, wide receiver, Treylon Burks is questionable. Phillips is on IR, so he will definitely not play. Tier Tart, the starting defensive tackle, is questionable. Shaq Leonard is questionable for the Colts. That would be big. Quentin Nelson is also questionable. Mo Alley Cox is questionable. And Jonathan Taylor's on the PUP list. So he'll definitely be out. So, that being said, with all the injuries the Colts have, also, they were just picked to lose anyways. I'm going to have the Titans winning. Not by much, though. I think this could be pretty close. They're going to win by 7 points. Going to win. How high? Titans aren't really an explosive team, so I'm not going to give them too many points. Say Titans put up 21, win 21-14. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints taking on the New England Patriots. And Saints are 2-2, Patriots are 1-3. So if we look at this, it's going to be a pretty even matchup. They have the Pats winning. Honestly, I don't know if I agree with that. I actually might have the Saints, but let me just look at everything else first. This is going to be a great game, no matter what. This is one to watch on CBS. So we got Derek Carr, 80 for 124, 763 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Definitely some mediocre stats, not the best, but it's all right. And Mac Jones, similar stats. He threw for more. He threw more than Derek Carr did, and he has a little bit more yardage. 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. That's still very mediocre. Taysom Hill leads the Saints in rushing. 20 carries, 101 yards. I couldn't even tell you who their running back is actually. Alvin Kamara, is he back? Yeah, I think he is. 60 carries, 164 yards, and a touchdown for Ramondre Stevenson for the Pats. Chris Olave, the second-year wide receiver out of Ohio State, 23 receptions, 306 yards. And tight end Hunter Henry, 17 receptions, 176 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the Pats. And here we have a huge injury report. Derek Carr, quarterback for the Saints, is questionable. I know he did carry it off the field last game. Hopefully he can play if you're a Saints fan, but we'll have to see. The backup is Jameis Winston, correct? I believe so. Juwan Johnson, the tight end, is also questionable. Brian Bresee, the new defensive tackle, is questionable as well. And if we look on the Pats here, Ty Montgomery's questionable. Tyquan Thorne, Jack Jones are both on IR, and Trey Flowers on the PUP list, so this is going to be close. Who do I pick to win it? You know what? I'm going to go with the Saints still. With the Saints, I know Derek Carr, there's a chance he won't play. I'm still going to go with the Saints. I think they are a better team overall. I think Saints will win by 3, 24-21. It's going to be a very close game. I do still have the Saints winning. And next up, we have my team. Ugh. I am sick at what happened last week. Very disappointed. 30-6 against the Texans. Oh my gosh. I'm literally going to lose my mind. It's all because of this man. I really need you to go. He's a terrible human being. Ugh, we're taking on the Ravens this week. They're 3-1. We're 2-2. And honestly, I had a lot of hope coming into last week. It's the Texans. It should be an easy win. Nope, it wasn't. We were winning 2 straight at that point. And of course, we ended up soiling our win. And we have a 28% chance to win. Probably rightfully so. Well, we're second in the division. We were number 1 last week, but of course with our loss, we dropped quite a bit. And yeah, I was really disappointed with everything that's happening. And if we look at the stats here, okay, Lamar, 78 for 105, 794 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. Kenny actually has more yards than him, but has the same amount of touchdowns as interceptions, and he only has 1. So, yeah, it's rough. But here's the thing. Baltimore's top running back is their quarterback, Lamar, 41 carries, 220 yards, 4 touchdowns. So, they don't really have a running back. He pretty much is a running back. Najee Harris, 49 carries, 210 yards. Maybe a little bit under expectations, but we did get it moving this week. We got the ball moving. We were running well, and then we just let him run away with it. I don't know what happened, but Receiving wise, Zay Flowers, 24 receptions, 244 yards. And George Pickens is actually our top receiver. Wow, that shocks me. 16 receptions, 263 yards, 1 touchdown. That's one of the reasons we did not win, or we lost 2 games. Because they don't give him the ball enough. He is such a good player. They only gave him 16 receptions. He should be at 30 by now. Ridiculous. It's all because of Matt Canada, but oh yeah, that's right. Kenny Pickett's questionable. Oh brother. Okay, so let's start with the Ravens though. Odafe Oweh, linebacker, questionable. Darryl Worley, their cornerback, is questionable. Justice Hill, running back, questionable. OBJ is questionable as well. If we can get him out, that would be a big win for us. Pat Freiermuth, tight end, doubtful. Dan Moore Jr. is out. Cole Holcomb is questionable. Kenny Pickett obviously questionable, and Chuck's a core 4 is questionable. So they pretty much won in the injury report here. So this is not looking good for us. I honestly don't know if I want to predict this game. I'm not going to predict it. You guys tell me what you think the score is going to be in the comments, but I feel like it would be too biased for me to predict. So you guys tell me in the comments what you think the score is going to be. Or I'm probably going to choose the Ravens. Fire Matt Canada, though. He's a terrible offensive coordinator. Taking on to this team.
Talked about the Houston.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Pat McAfee, you scared me. Houston Texans, 2-2. Falcons are 2-2 as well. Texans, I've seen firsthand what they can do. They're looking really good. Or maybe that's just our terrible defense. But we actually have a decent defense, but I don't know. Coaching isn't there really. Passing yards, CJ Stroud, 94 for 151. 1,212 yards, 6 touchdowns, and here it is. No interceptions. Those are some of the best stats I've seen so far this year. And Desmond Ridder, not a terrible year, 74 for 119, 744 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's the passing. And now for rushing, we got Damian Pierce, 64 carries, 181 yards, and 1 touchdown. And my man, Bijan Robinson, I really like Bijan. 53 carries, 318 yards. That's insane, actually. Nico Collins in receiving for the Texans, 22 receptions, 428 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Smith, 15 receptions for 179. And if we go to the injury report, we can see Kendrick Green is on IR, Cameron Johnson, the punter, is on IR, Titus Howard, their offensive tackle, Damian Pierce, the running back's questionable. That could be huge. Shaq Mason, their star guard, is questionable as well. So some important injuries there. And for the Falcons, we only have Josh Ali, their wide receiver, backup wide receiver too, on IR. So, okay, not bad for the Falcons. They're only 1 injury. So the Falcons are 2-2, second in their division. And the Houston is 2-2, also second in their division. They're tied for first, and they're also tied for last. We talked about this earlier. AFC South is as tight as it could possibly be. Yeah, though, Falcons are favored to win by about 2 points. I, though, am going to give it to the Texans because I saw them put up 30 points on what I thought was a really good defense in ours, but apparently not. And let's go to the Panthers versus the Lions. And I might have to speed up this video. We're already 12 minutes in. We're not even halfway done. Okay, so we got Lions 77%, Panthers 22%. Panthers are 0-4, Lions are 3-1. Rushing, yeah, Bryce Young's doing solid, and Jared Goff's actually playing really, really well. Miles Sanders, is not playing very well. Montgomery's playing okay. Thielen is playing great, and Amon-Ra St. Brown having an incredible year so far. Injury report, nothing crazy. CJ Gardner-Johnson, the safety, is on IR, though. I'm going to have the Lions winning by 17. Okay, next up, we have Giants versus Dolphins. Dolphins have a huge chance to win. Tua has some incredible yards so far. A-Chain looking great. Tyreek looking incredible, actually. And yeah, nothing crazy on the injury report. Saquon Barkley is questionable. That would be big. That's about it. I'm going to give the Dolphins by 28. And you can see here, we got to switch this up a little bit because we ran out of spaces. Okay. Moving on as we scroll down. Eagles, Rams. Eagles. Obviously going to be favored. Not by much, though. I thought it would be more. It's because Matthew Stafford's having, well, a great year, yard-wise. But as for interceptions, not very good. And Jalen Hurts, I don't want to say he's having a down year, but it's not incredible. 3 interceptions, only 959 yards. It's still good stats, but probably not as good as last year. DeAndre Swift, 59 carries, 364 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's really, really good. Williams playing well. A.J. Brown playing very, very well. And Puka Nacua, wow, no one expected this guy to do good. But man, has he done well so far this year. Eagles leading their division, obviously, the one of 2 teams who are 4-0. The other one is in LA's division. That's San Francisco. LA 2-2. San Francisco and Philadelphia actually face each other week 11, I believe. So that's going to be one of the games of the year for sure. That'll be a game to watch. But I'm going to have the Eagles winning by 14 there. And we got Bengals, Cardinals, both 1-3. Cardinals actually have impressed me so far. They have a 35% chance to win. Burrow's playing okay. Dobbs is playing better than Burrow. I would not have expected that. 4 touchdowns for him, no interceptions. And Burrow has 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Mixon, okay. Connor playing really well. Jamar playing great. Marquise Hollywood Brown is playing well. Nothing crazy on the injury report for the Bengals. T. Higgins is questionable and Orlando Brown is questionable, so that could be big. But besides that, nothing wild on the injury report. So I'm going to have the Bengals winning by 17. Okay, yeah, that seems fair. And we are moving in to the later games. We got Jets taking on the Broncos. And honestly, this is just a team of who is the worst and who is 31st in the country, pretty much. Broncos are not favored to win. They have a 45% chance to win. In New York, the Jets are last in their division, and Denver is last in their division. So who is the best of the worst, I guess you could say? Wilson not having a great year. I mean, okay passing wise, but the 4 interceptions won't cut it. Russell actually has really good stats. That's actually very, very good. Breece Hall, 32 carries, 210 yards. Jamal Williams, 38 carries, 138 yards. Passing wise, Mims playing well, and Wilson playing very well. So on injury report, nothing crazy really. Justin Simmons is questionable, but that's about it for them. And let's keep moving. We got Chiefs Vikings, probably the game of the week, I would say. Obviously, Chiefs favor to win, and oh my goodness, can they stop talking about Taylor Swift? It's getting on my nerves. Kansas City is number 1 in their division, and Minnesota's number 3 in theirs, but they have Jay Jetta's 543 yards, 3 touchdowns already. That is number 1. That's the best we've seen so far today. Puka Nacua was actually number 2, and for the Chiefs, their top receiver has 163 yards. They are not strong receiving wise. Good thing that they are, as far as quarterback, they have the best right now, who could become the best ever by the end of his career if he keeps it up. 1,000 yards already, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Kirk actually has better stats than him though. 1,200, 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's really good for Kirk. Pacheco playing solid on the ground game, and Alexander Madison playing good as well. Injury report, Lewis Cine is out. Questionable. And Nick Bolton's questionable. Jets about it. Jalen Watson, the cornerback's questionable. But that's about it for that game. And let's see. We got one more game to cover before Monday Night Football. Cowboys, Niners. This is the game of the week for sure. We got Sunday Night Football. Very close. 55% for the Niners. They're 4-0, and Dallas is 3-1 though, so this would be a slight upset, but I still think they could do it. And would you look at Brock Purdy, 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, and incredible accuracy. Dak Prescott also playing really well, not far behind Purdy. He threw more passes and has lower yards though, and he has an interception, but that only one, so that's not bad. Pollard, 300 yards. McCaffrey having an incredible year. Oh my goodness, 459, 6 touchdowns already. CeeDee Lamb, pretty good yards. Brandon Ayuk, even better. So, injury report, nothing wild. Zach Martin, star guard, is out. Peyton Hendershot, tight end, is questionable. Debo is questionable. Elijah Mitchell is questionable. Oh no, Charvarius Ward's questionable. Oh, that's a lot of good players. Jawan Jennings as well. And Dre Greenlaw. Oh my goodness, that's a bad injury report for the Niners. Still going to give him the win, though. Tickets as low as $275. That's actually insane. Niners are going to win by 7, though. And now we go to Monday night, the final game of the week. Packers taking on the Raiders. Let's take a look at this real quick. Packers are 2-2. Raiders are 1-3. Definitely think Packers have the advantage here.
This kind of goes back to the conversation, and I don't want to do this, but
Pat McAfee, stop talking, please. Okay. But, yeah, injury report, nothing crazy, except Jimmy Garoppolo is questionable. If he's not in, that'd be Aiden McConnell playing, I believe. Yeah, nothing crazy stat-wise. Jordan Love's actually having a very good year. Dobbs, Adams having a great year. Josh Jacobs, AJ Dillon. It's gonna be 92 degrees, but I'm gonna give it to the Packers.